And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, we are live streaming on Rumble. Go to rumble.com/Casey the host. Please subscribe and hit that Rumble button. Okay, Hunter Biden is known for doing a lot of things, most of which are illegal. But Hunter Biden apparently has created some artwork, and this has people starting to get a little bit more concerned about allegations of corruption inside the Biden administration, and here's why. Hunter Biden sold artwork at an exhibition in New York, and apparently, like, some of this stuff was valued at $500,000. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. All right, here's Breitbart with the story. Joe Biden's scandal-plagued son, Hunter Biden, is reportedly now engaged as a full-time artist and is working with Soho art dealer Georges Burgess. I don't know if that's how you say it. I don't have any clue about that world at all. Anyway, he's going to hold an exhibition in New York in the coming months with prices for Hunter's artwork ranging from $75,000 to $500,000. $500,000. Amid years of scandal, the 51-year-old Hunter Biden is apparently now laying low in his Los Angeles home. That's because he doesn't want his pedophile tapes to come out. While working on his artwork, his dealer plans to host a private viewing for Biden in Los Angeles this fall, followed by an exhibition in New York. And again, the artwork will range from $75,000. That's stuff on paper. And then $500,000 for large-scale paintings. Now, as people look at this, here's what you have to understand. Getting money when you're in political positions gets very interesting. There's a lot of ways that you can raise cash legally, but it's really not kosher, if you know what I mean. Now, if somebody walks up to Hunter Biden and says, "Man, I love your dad, here's $500,000, that's bad, okay? But if Hunter Biden were to, draw a couple of stick figures on a canvas and then sell them privately as a citizen, and somebody were to, pay him $500,000 for a painting worth, $3 maybe, well, all of a sudden, it's legal. Now, we've had, I should say it's legal. Sort of. It depends, okay? So we've had, the mayor of Baltimore kind of famously did this. She wrote a children's book that nobody bought, so then she forced the government to buy the books, at an inflated price. And it's just, there's weird ways of making money, and for the most part, people get away with it. Sometimes they don't get away with it. So there's a lot of people looking at this and going, all right, Hunter Biden is not an artist, okay? And by not an artist, I don't mean he doesn't have any talent. I mean, he's not a known artist. People don't seek Hunter Biden artwork. It's not in demand. It's not something that has value in the world of art. So how it is that Hunter Biden, who is known for snorting cocaine, potentially diddling underage relatives, and very shady, potentially illegal business dealings overseas, how is it that all of a sudden he's demanding $500,000 for a painting? Get it? So what ends up happening is this could be a way to invoke plausible deniability. Plausible deniability is, I'm doing everything on the up and up, and if you think I'm doing something not on the up and up, well, hey, I'm a private citizen and I'm allowed to sell my artwork, which he is. He's allowed to sell his artwork. But what if, just what if, one of the buyers of his $500,000 piece just happens to be somebody that Hunter had previously arranged a meeting with Joe Biden, right? This happened in Kazakhstan. This happened in China. This happened elsewhere with Hunter Biden and his dad, where he would go to these places. He would meet these very prominent, rich people in those areas. Some of them were politicians. Some of them were business people. Some of them were criminals. And all of a sudden, he gets a transfer into his account for millions of dollars, right? So in the Kazakhstan situation, Hunter Biden goes to Kazakhstan. He flies there in Air Force Two with Joe Biden, who's the vice president of the United States at the time. In Kazakhstan, Hunter Biden has a meeting with the mayor of, the biggest city in Kazakhstan, okay? And his son, or something like that. So they have this meeting, and then all of a sudden, there's like $2.5 million. Don't quote me on the amount, but it was a large sum of money that was deposited in the business account for Hunter Biden for cars. Well, his business didn't deal in cars in any capacity. They didn't trade cars. They didn't sell cars. They didn't buy cars. They didn't ship cars. They didn't invest in cars. They didn't do any of that stuff with car parts. None of it. All of a sudden, there's a large sum of money that was deposited in Hunter Biden's account from the Kazakhs. And then right after that, they got to meet Vice President Joe Biden right after that deposit. Isn't that interesting? So theoretically, here's why people are concerned. Hunter Biden's artwork is not worth $500,000. It's not worth $75,000. Everybody knows this. He's not well known in the art world and his paintings are not in demand. But if you provide an opportunity for somebody who has received a favor from Hunter Biden to pay him back for that favor while still maintaining some plausible deniability, you announce to the world that Hunter Biden is doing art and he's going to have a couple of exhibits on both coasts, and then you allow the person who did something not so kosher to go in and pay Hunter Biden indirectly by buying one of his paintings. But he's not paying him for the painting. He's paying him for the previous favor, perhaps a private meeting with Joe Biden, perhaps it was something else. And that's how you pay a politician or their immediate sphere of influence when it would become problematic for you to do so directly. This happens all the time in politics. It's oftentimes a real estate deal, but they are choosing art. Go figure. Harry Reid made most of his money doing stuff like this with real estate. So this is very, very confusing. But it looks like just a standard, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy one of your pieces of artwork, which isn't worth anything, but I'm going to give you $500,000 to it because you did me that solid by allowing me to meet your dad. So thanks for that. Let's see. Breitbart continues. Hunter Biden's newfound venture does little to distract from the ongoing concerns that he could perhaps be trading on his family name, and he and other members of the Biden family have been accused of doing in the past. And I'd like to remind everybody that all of the Bidens, including Joe, have been accused of criminal activity by other governments in the world. Just want to remind everybody about that because that's something that our media just does not want to cover at all. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.